Every now and again, I feel the urge to just chill out with a simple 2D side-scroller. I've played my fair share of puzzle platformers. I'm a big fan of the likes of Limbo, Inside, the Little Nightmare games, and even Heart of Darkness way back in the 90s. I really do love the genre. It's something I can pick up and play without the commitment the bigger 3D games require, which can sometimes be overwhelming and jarring. It's a genre that can offer a challenge in its puzzles, complexity in its stories, and in most cases, beauty in its art style. So you can imagine my excitement when I stumbled across Planet of Lana. Without even seeing any gameplay or hints of what it's about, the images I saw were enough to draw me in and give it a go. And better still, the average completion time is about 5 hours, and if you've seen my previous videos, then you'll know that this is something I find incredibly enticing. Planet of Lana was released in May of this year for all systems and is developed by Wishfully Studios, an indie developer based in Sweden. After quickly looking them up, I found out that this is their debut game since forming in 2018, so I was really excited to find out what they can do. And I am very happy I did, because the game quickly earned its place among my favourite puzzle platformers. So without further delay, let's explore the Planet of Lana and find out what it's all about. And please do not worry about spoilers, it's a game you should experience blind, so I won't be ruining it for you here. Planet of Lana wastes no time in setting up its story. You play as Lana, a young girl who's part of what seems to be a primitive race of humans that live the simple life. You're quickly introduced to Lana's sister, and within the first few minutes of the game, you see people going about their day to day, whether that be fishing, cooking, or selling at the local market. You're chasing your sister into the nearby woods, and you see 2 gravestones with the game heavily implying they belong to your parents. Everything is calm and tranquil, only to be interrupted by huge machines crashing into the planet that start abducting every living thing they see, including your sister. After managing to evade the machines, you take it upon yourself to find your sister, the only family you have left. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the game is you embarking on a journey across the planet in search of your sister, with the world throwing hurdles at you in the shape of puzzles, wildlife, and robots. You eventually encounter a small cat-like creature called Mui, who acts as your companion on your quest. Mui not only provides the comfort of a companion, but is also a great help in solving problems, but we'll get more into that later. As you progress, you quickly find that searching for your sister no longer becomes your sole motivator. You realise there's a mystery here, and it's one I found to be very fascinating. There's a mystery surrounding the planet you're on. Who are the robots, and most importantly, who are you? You pick up on subtle clues on your travels, and it becomes very satisfying theorising what exactly is going on here. I found myself trying to guess the ending, only to be proved very wrong multiple times. You're slowly able to piece together an overarching puzzle, and I'm happy to say the payoff is very satisfying. The game offers very limited dialogue, with your character only having a vocabulary of about 10 words. Despite this, the game does an excellent job at conveying emotion and connecting you to Lana, so much so that you start to really care about her journey. You can really feel her panicking in the way that she shouts during the stressful moments of the game, and they do an excellent job of letting you know how she feels through her body language. Take this scene for example. It's near the beginning of the game and it's clear she has a moment of hesitation before jumping down from a ledge. Perhaps this is the furthest she's travelled from her village, or perhaps she knows that after jumping down there's no way back. I was able to really connect with Lana. I was invested in her plight from the beginning and I was rooting for her the whole way through. The story of the Planet of Lana is by no means complicated, but I found it to be very interesting and enough of a hook to carry me to the end. The idea of advanced technological machines invading a primitive world is fascinating to me. Seeing the hunter-gatherer up against robots is a juxtaposition I am all for. It really reminded me of the War of the Worlds at parts, and that concept within a Ghibli-esque world was executed wonderfully in my opinion. I really recommend playing through the story. It's full of highs and lows, but it's enjoyable and intriguing all the way through to the credits. The gameplay is pretty much what you'd expect from a 2D puzzle platformer. If you played Limbo or Inside, then you'll know exactly what's in store for you in Planet of Lana. The gameplay centers around puzzles that you need to complete before progressing. This could be hiding from robots, moving platforms, or everyone's favorite, changing the water level. As I briefly mentioned before, your cat-like companion expands the gameplay slightly and adds an extra layer of challenge to some puzzles. You're forced to work together to move forward. For example, Mui could be distracting a robot while Lana sneaks past to safety, or Mui could be controlling a creature that could enable you to move forward. There's also hidden shrines for the completionists out there that encourages you to explore but also acts as an important storytelling tool. I must admit, some puzzles did have me stumped, but I am a bit of an idiot so perhaps I'm not the best judge of difficulty. For the most part though, I didn't find the puzzles to be too difficult, and they don't offer anything new that I haven't previously experienced in other titles. There were moments where I became frustrated because of the waiting times involved. Sometimes you have to wait for a robot to finish its movement cycle before there's a gap for you to escape through. But the waiting felt unnecessarily long, and I must admit I did become a tad impatient. A few times the puzzles felt more like a chore than anything fun, but fortunately these moments are infrequent. Regardless, in most cases, successful completion of a puzzle will give you that sweet feeling of satisfaction, but I always found myself wanting more out of them, which I sadly never got. Some innovation and originality would have been nice to see, but it's still a sound game that offers a great deal of challenge, and you will be scratching your head at parts. One thing I do want to say is that technically speaking, I found this game to be flawless with no bugs to be found. This is impressive on its own, but even more so considering that this is the developer's first game. And as you are running around solving puzzles, there's one thing in particular that makes this game an absolute pleasure to play, and it's something that you've probably already noticed. This game is breathtakingly beautiful, and I really mean that. This game is so beautiful that at parts I just had to sit there in silence and take it all in. It's the type of beauty that will put a smile on your face. It's heartwarming, it's uplifting, it's just downright gorgeous. The lead game designer has cited Studio Ghibli as a source of inspiration, and it really shows. From its luscious green grass to the deep blue sky, traversing this game is an absolute delight for the eyes, and I'm still in awe of it. It's quite typical for games of this genre to be dark and moody, but that's been flipped on its head here because it instills feelings of positivity and triumph throughout. On your journey, you'll be exploring various terrains that's just as beautiful as the last. Whether that be its green fields, dark swamps, or golden deserts, there's no shortage of beauty on display here. But the game doesn't just use its art to look good, it's a tool that fleshes out the world to strengthen the narrative and connect you to Lana. There's one moment in particular where all you do is run. The camera zooms out, the sun comes up, and you're treated to one of the most visually impressive things you'll ever see in a game. I was going to put the clip here for you to see, but on second thoughts I think it's something you really should experience for yourself. But please believe me when I say that this game is art, and it's exactly why I play video games. But aside from the artwork, I do want to take a quick moment to talk about the music in this game. There's actually a really cool story behind the music. Takeshi Furukawa, the game's composer, is someone you may already be familiar with. He composed the soundtrack of The Last Guardian, and also composed songs for the Star Wars animated series, The Clone Wars. Takeshi approached Wishfully Studios after seeing a piece of the game's art on Twitter, and the rest is history. With his experience with orchestral scores, the soundtrack of The Planet of Lana is very cinematic and epic, and does an excellent job of bringing even more life to this rich and vibrant world. I didn't think it possible to add any more colour to this piece of art, but the soundtrack achieves this effortlessly. So overall, despite its shortcomings in the gameplay department, I strongly recommend Planet of Lana. The art style and soundtrack alone is enough for me to recommend it. It truly is a piece of art, and it's something everybody should put on their radar. For this to be the developer's first game is mind-blowing, and I'll be following them very closely after seeing what they can do. Thank you, Wishfully Studios, for providing me with this wonderfully crafted story and enriching experience. So that's it from me. If you got this far, thank you very much for watching. All feedback is welcome, so please do let me know what you think in the comments below. Please also hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and also consider subscribing. I'll see you all in the next one.